The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program, and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Hello. Welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm Chip.
And I'm CJ.
And I just want to let everybody know I have my fleece on backwards because I sustained an injury from hitting myself severely under the chin with a 2x4 watching the City Council meeting. And I have bruising in the area, so I don't want to have everybody looking at my purple bruises and wondering. So, no, it was just a little accident. So.
Well, before we get to the City Council meeting, I think we're going to attack some of the issues.
Oh, no, I just wanted to explain my attire. It'll be like this till the bruising goes down. Because
your attire is just
my
fine.
purple neck doesn't match my beautiful head.
Well, I mean, let's go over a couple of things. The Swansea Selectmen chief wants to expand the scope of the assessor's double dipping report.
You think?
I wonder why.
I wonder why.
You know, maybe because Mary Sahady, the fox in charge of the chicken coop, doesn't work.
The silver fox.
That's it.
That's it. The silver fox couldn't find anything. What a surprise.
I know.
And let's work. Oh, what's 4 or 5 hours between friends?
That's it. It's nothing big. But you know, what I think is funny is that Mayor Carrera admits that he went to Miami.
Vacation.
Who paid for it?
A vacation. You know, when he wasn't making enough money to afford a car or vacations, he didn't go. Now he can go on vacation.
Right.
And for what? Streetscapes. And where did he go? How ironic is this, CJ? Where was it held?
Miami.
Miami. The only one of the few cities that beat Fall River as a crappier place to live.
Yep.
And what does this prove? What we said on our last show. That streetscapes basically is only effective in places with high tourism. The Herald News, who also wrote this ridiculous article,
The Pravda,
said that they don't understand why Miami is the worst place in the country to live. We went over that because it's a paradise. Oh, it's a paradise for tourists. What other places have had fairly successful streetscapes? It's places like San Francisco, New York City that have a very, very vibrant and tourist trade, and it's a big part of their economy. You know, they don't do streetscapes in the ghetto, and it doesn't help cities like Fall River. You know, the mayor had a vacation, and he's saying how he got. This isn't validation. The people who put on this thing are people who were making money off streetscapes.
That's right, and this was funded by the National Endowment for the Arts.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, look how many arts we've got. Look at all. Look, don't they want to move or have a satellite of the Louvre in Fall River?
Yeah, I think they're going to be setting that up over where the gates of the city
so
are
the
right
junkies
now.
Can shoot up like they used to in St. Anne's Church. You know,
Right.
they find a place in a lobby at a Louvre to shoot up.
Well, you know, I find it just amazingly funny because, again, Streetscapes designates areas to, and I'm going to quote the mayor, to lift them out of the low to moderate income status. Well, that means you're going to change. I had to find a politically correct word. And so what you're going to do then, I guess, Mr. Mayor, is you're going to segregate these people. I use that term deliberately. And you're going to move them to 5th Street, right? Because we're going to make the ghetto be 5th Street.
Be more ghetto.
Yeah, and we're gonna make it, you know, ends of South Main Street that don't qualify under the East Main Street.
Well, good. We
proposal.
can do what they did in Miami, expand the ghetto. So
that's right, and that's what they did.
Any place outside the tourist areas is a crap hole.
That's
Just like in Honolulu. Next time any of you visit Honolulu, rent a car and drive outside the tourist area in downtown Oahu. Go look at the people living in tin shacks and check the drug addiction rate and the crime rate in those communities outside of Honolulu.
Yeah, and you know what's really interesting is this. I will give you the perfect success plan for a state, for a city in any state. Atlantic City, New Jersey.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't even
Okay.
have to go a block.
Yeah, you just got to walk behind the hotels,
That's
and
right.
there you are.
That's
okay?
right.
Because it's all focused in one area, the area where they want to keep all the tourists and all the money.
And
so
make all their
everyone
friends
outside of that
rich.
area is the derelicts.
Yeah.
So thank you, Mr. Mayor Jazel Correa. You're living up to your history that you did as an elected official in Providence College, where you moved to silence the people and segregate those
That's
who
right.
did not go along
The people
with what
don't
you
know
said.
any. The hell with the people. We
That's
don't
right.
want them to vote
Yeah.
on this.
I'm the king. I'm the king.
And wait a minute. The next one is a positive.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Wait a second.
Wait a minute.
It's a press release from the governor's office. Governor Baker's Workforce Skills Cabinet opens $12 million workforce development grant round and announces $1.45 million in advanced manufacturing training awards. And if you look at the end of that press release, you will see the cities and towns that qualified. Guess which one didn't qualify?
Yeah, well, I said it's positive. It's positive in its intent, CJ,
Right.
because if you read this, how many times have we said on this show, instead of spending $40 million on streetlights and putting lipstick on a pig and painting a car without an engine, let's spend that money in trying to get people jobs and
Oh, yeah,
and to
no,
help
there's
our
no question
And
about
what
it.
does this do? It says the first grant program will be, the training administration will be for training, improve economic and job training opportunities for residents across the Commonwealth. This is what we need. We need money putting into teaching people how to be welders, teaching them a skill, that
And I
can,
think-
an employable skill. So then we can then create apprenticeships with companies and get people to work. This is what we need to be spent. City Clowncil that continues to vote to put lipstick on a pig. You know, pay attention. Pay attention. You should post this on every door in a government center and about 12 on the mayor's door. This is what we're supposed to be doing with our tax dollar. Making sure we get services and training people that are in this city to become employed. So the high tide of jobs will raise all boats, because streetlights and sidewalks do not an economy make.
But you know, I think one of the key statements in this press release is right at the beginning, where it says, grants will fund workforce training for students as well as unemployed and underemployed individuals. And what did we talk about? Training programs in the schools.
Yeah.
If you're not going to be a college student, why waste the money? You might as well get a trade. You might as well learn this. And the last of the state news, this is again how politicians work very well. And of course, this is how our mayor works.
Yeah.
But Charlie Baker delays action on the revenge plot probe.
Ooh.
Oh, you know, not a good thing at all. Not a good thing at all. But you know, I guess there was questions on, you know, a certain complaint, and I guess the governor's office waited 3 months before launching any investigation into charges of political retaliation and harassment by GOP loyalists as his embattled environmental agency, a delay prompting Democrats to try and ignite a bombshell. Well, you know, that's politics at its best, and this is why during the Monday debate, presidential debate, which makes me nauseous even thinking about sometimes, because nobody won. Nobody won. But the one statement I think that came out of that debate very clearly was, for 30 years, you've been working on this, and has it been fixed? Guess what? Was he talking about Fall River?
He could have been.
He could have been talking about Fall River. Because guess what? Linda, Joe Camara, you've been working on this for 20 years, and guess what? It's still a crap hole. You haven't fixed anything up.
And what do they do when they screw up and you investigate? There's never any finding.
No.
And they delay and delay and delay. And the governor's doing it. But I'm telling you, Charlie, look out. You know who just declared he's running for governor? A
Yeah.
man with the magic name.
Yep.
A man with the magic name, Kennedy. There's a Kennedy running for governor in the next election. Look out, Charlie. Look out, Charlie. You got a St. Kennedy coming after you.
That's it. Well, enough with the minutia news. Let's get right to the nitty gritty.
Oh God, it's you gotta have a 55-gallon drum of Pepto-Bismol.
And before I even get into some of this stuff, I'm going to tell you now, it's nauseating to the point that I have to open this show or this section of the show with our favorite,
everybody's favorite.
Screw you, taxpayer! Because let me tell you something. I am going to show you right now the absolute proof that our city council, all 9 of them, do not have a set between them. They voted unanimously to give the Atlantis Charter School $2 million. $2 million to build them a bridge on city land, to build them a road on city land, and they think the school is going to maintain that. Get real. But later on in the meeting, they vote unanimously with a commentary by Pam La Liberté LeBeau to vote no on question 2. Now, city councilors, do you show how you actually have no backbone and nothing to believe? Because on one hand, you say, oh no, the Atlantis Charter School needs this money and they need this road because they're going to make a high school, da 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 da. But at the same time, you turn around and say, but we're not going to vote to expand the charter school cap. You're duplicitous. You were pandering.
No, they're bipolar.
Now, but the FREA is just as bad. And you know what, Rebecca, I'm not apologizing for this, but I'm going to tell you now. If I were the president of the FREA, I would have went there during citizens input. I would have sat down and not only demanded that they back the no on 2, but that they vote no on the $2 million for the school. Because guarantee you, come the next budget cycle, which is coming up in a matter of 2 months, they're going to ask you to take cuts. And always remember that when you go into your negotiations and you're looking at this budget, remember and shove it right in their face. You gave $2 million to the Atlantis Charter School.
Yeah, but remember, we may need a sewage plant in 20 or 30 years. It's always 20, 30 years. If the queen had testicles, she'd be the king.
That's right.
That's the cat. But she doesn't, so she's the queen. So guess what? All these ifs and stuff, they're all smoke screens. Listen, that was pathetic pandering to the unions because, they don't want to upset the unions. So they're going to say, okay, the teachers will be against me. The administrators will be against me if I vote for this charter school. But people who are secure in their position because they get bounced out, like Senator Roderick, doesn't care. Like, you get me out. I'm like entrenched. But the fact is, are you really bipolar? Look, I've said charter schools have had a lot of problems with money and how they invest it all over the country. All you got to do is look at some of the reports. There's a John Oliver show, a whole half an hour on charter schools all over the country, about one school that's reported 400 students and they had 40. A lot of mismanagement of money. It's a private sector school that provides public education. It doesn't really mix. But I don't believe in using public sector money to fund private sector institutions. Because this is what happens. This is what happens. Now we're going to give them $2 million, and who's going to make that $2 million up? We are. Because they're going to cut, that's $2 million less they can spend on public education. Do I think public education is perfect? Absolutely not. There's way too many administrators. We've said time and time again, we have to reform ed reform. We have to get rid of CEOs and deans of students. The education has gotten worse. We just had a school deemed a level 4 school in Fall River. We've gotten, the school budget is double what it used to be. The student population is less, and we spend huge amount of money, mostly on administrators and high-paid principals and people with fancy titles like Dean of Students. Is public education perfect? No. But you can't have apples and oranges mixed, and if you make a commitment to education, as you say, let's keep all our education money and have it on public education. The fact is, charter schools are private entities. You give them the fundamental tools they need. I don't even agree that they should be, if they're going to be a private sector school, be a private sector school. I'm all for being either public or private. When we begin to mix public money with private money, this is when we have problems. I don't agree with giving public money for any private endeavor, whether it's a football stadium. Remember the football stadium they wanted us to fund? Whether it's a baseball field for the Paw Sox in Providence, or whether it's a bridge for fundamentally a privately run school. Once you begin to give taxpayer money to private institutions, you're going to get screwed. Not just once. It's more than screw you to taxpayer. It's screw you to taxpayer to the 1,000th power. Remember what happened with our Red Sox pitcher over in Providence when they gave him public money?
Yep.
It's amazing because politicians kiss everybody that's got money, everybody that's got a name, and they gave him the money because of his name, because he was a pitcher for the Red Sox. And look what happened in Providence. There's still fallout over this thing. But it's taxpayer money. And you know what happens? At the bottom, at the end of all this, they don't give two craps. Because guess what? It's not their money. They'll just tax some more, raise your taxes, because they'll say, hey, we don't have enough money to run this thing. And why not? Because we gave money to, what was the name of that studio? Whatever the hell the studio.
Oh, 38 Studio.
38 Studio. It ended up like 38 billion studio money, 38 million. Who cares? They gave money to them. We give money here. And once you begin to mix that, they wanted to build, at least the people of Providence were smart enough to put enough pressure to say, hell no, we're not paying for the Paw Sox, a private company, to build them a stadium. Let them build their own stadium and let them get the money, because we're going to pay. They'll never pay us back. So the whole concept is flawed, and our city council is obviously bipolar because they're supporting it, and then they say they're against charter school expansion. Well, you should be also worried about giving money to existing charter schools. And I guess Pam LeBeau made some statement. She didn't agree with everything, but she was voting for it. Well, Councilor LeBeau, let me tell you something. You shouldn't vote for things you don't agree with. And if there's something in there you don't agree with, there's two alternatives. One is attempt to amend the resolution, which is what you should have done. Take the parts out you don't agree with and make it something you can vote for in good conscience. Or, if you can't get your resolution through, if you have enough courage to vote your conscience, you vote against it. But you don't, because you don't want to upset the teachers' unions and the school administrators' unions and people who have children in public education, because you're a politician. If you don't agree with something, you don't vote for it. Take the arrow in the forehead. Not in the back. Don't turn and run. Don't have enough courage not to vote your conscience. Vote it. If you don't agree with something, amend it. And if you can't amend it, you vote it down. You vote no. When a motion came before the floor in a union that I didn't agree with at a convention or in my own union hall, I would amend the motion. If the amendment didn't pass, I would vote against the motion because I didn't believe in the motion. That's the way it's supposed to be done. You're supposed to represent the people of the city, and you're also supposed to represent the concept that you are a representative of the people And you also have to say, if you don't agree with something, you're not obligated to vote for it. So, CJ, you're reading in there. I don't know.
I'm always reading.
But so that's it. Look,
No, but again, Pam LeBeau even showed how much of a two-face, non-committal elected official she is. She goes, I don't agree with some of this, but I'm going to vote for it anyways. And then she says, oh, I'm going to give $2 million to the Atlantis Charter School because guess what? That's what she believes in. Because she believes in parent choice. And I'm not saying parents shouldn't have a choice.
And she has every right to do that.
That's right. She has every right
but
to
if you
do that.
Don't vote for the cap.
That's right. I mean, stand by your conviction. So we know now that you're worthless as a city councilor, which we kind of already knew, but you have no backbone. Because as you once said to me, Ms. LeBeau, well, if you change your approach, maybe I'd listen to you. You know what? I don't have to change my approach at all. You were elected by the people to represent the people. And guess what? I'm the people.
And everybody has a right to their opinion.
That's right.
But at least if we have an opinion, we stick by it. And if we're against something, we'll say it.
That's
just
right.
like that. We're complaining about streetscapes. I don't
right.
believe in it. I never will.
Which, by the way,
and guess what? That doesn't mean I dislike somebody personally. But if I oppose a position that they have, and that's the thing, we're not. This isn't a social club. It's a government. And government is supposed to be of the people, by the people, and for the people.
Unless you're in Fall River.
Not for everybody's cronies and everybody that's politically connected. That's the key.
I hear you. And the thing is, let's look at futility. Okay? There was a motion last night to take items 2A through P, except for I, together. And that motion failed. They wanted to take them all individually. Item I was the Purchase Streetscapes plan. So as they went down the list, departmental equipment, they passed and referred to ordinance. Post and they had to print it. They had to post it in the Herald News and refer it to ordinance because the loan orders have to first appear in the paper and be posted, and then they get talking to finance committee, referred to finance committee. So they went down the line, A, B, C, police department equipment, post and refer to finance. MIS, post and refer to finance. Fire, post and refer to finance. All the way down the line on everything. Buildings and grounds, parks, streets and highways, which, by the way, there's 3 different loans for streets and highways. I can't figure out why they're just going to put them all together for one. Oh, wait, you might have to get a voter approval. That's right. We don't want the voters to say anything. Then we get to Purchase Street. All of these have passed 9-0. So why didn't you just say take 2A through 2P and just pass them through and refer them to ordinance? Why did you waste 10 or 15 minutes going through each individual item?
So they could all say their little PR piece on the thing, and then everybody can say.
No, but that was the whole thing. Nobody said anything. Motion seconded, all in favor, all opposed, motion passed.
Yeah, but it gives them the opportunity to do it. Plus, they can say they looked at each individual thing and voted for it.
Right.
They didn't just lump them all together and do it. It's just like the real estate guy that didn't do anything and got paid.
Oh,
and then of course Kathy, I am a pathological liar, Viveris, said, later on we're going to get something out of this deal. Well, the bottom line with this is some guy got $24,000 for doing absolutely nothing because he was a friend of the mayor. And he did nothing.
That's right.
Yeah, so rather than our clowncil, and now I'm going to refer to him as our clowncil, demanding when the city administrator said that, say, I want to know, I want to see every single correspondence, every single document. I want to see what they did, when they did it, for the time period you paid them for. Because guess what? You could be able to put that on a stick-it that you put on your refrigerator.
A Post-it note.
Yeah, Post-it note. That's whatever the hell.
Well, the thing is that Cliff Ponte brought up the fact that he asked for the contract. He said the contract was typewritten. He goes, we spent millions of dollars on computers, but we're still typewriting the contracts. And there was nothing in the contract. And Cliff Ponte's background is in real estate. And this company did absolutely nothing. Just, oh, but we have 2, maybe 3 potential buyers or developers. You know what potential means? Potential means I'm looking. Don't bother me until I decide. Okay? A bird in the hand is worth more than 2 in the bush. It's an old phrase, but guess what? It's true.
Well, that's like $8,000 a client. I'll go get them a few people. I'll get a few of my friends to say they're interested too. If the city's going to pay me $8,000 for bringing in a couple people,
right?
$8,000 a client. We've got 2 or 3. It's either $12,000 or $8,000 a client. I'll tell you what. I'll tell them I'm interested. You can have the $8,000, CJ.
There you go.
And then you can do that for me, and I'll take the $8,000. This again is government, taking care of their friends again and wasting money again. We're going to hire people they're your friends and pay them money, whether it's $80,000 for a guy that never made more than 40.
Right.
Again, government waste. We never do. We should. They're looking at changing the city motto from "We'll try." Well, I got a good one.
Clean it up.
We'll expletive deleted it all up. You know what that expletive I'm deleting is. That should be our city motto, because we never do anything. Everything's for 30 years down the road. All we do is spend money and get deeper in debt, and we see less service, we see more high-paying jobs, and we never see the economy in the city grow. We continue to go down. We went from the second poorest city of our size to the poorest. We have nearly one quarter of this city living below the poverty level. And all these harebrained schemes that they've had over the last 20 years, and what they're doing now, is the same old, same old. They've never, ever fixed anything, and they never will, because all we get is promises and excrement.
That's right.
That's all we get, because, they still haven't figured out, and the voters, all the good voters have left. They couldn't get away with this 25, 30 years ago, because all the people that now live in Somerset, Westport, Timbuktu, Florida, or wherever the hell they went to get out of this
Other
place.
touristy areas with great streetscapes.
would bounce city councilors and mayors out in a heartbeat for raising taxes indiscriminately, for not providing them with adequate public safety, for not spending money on the city, because those people had jobs and they got the hell out of here. So now what we got left with is an electorate of people in the high-rises that you can buy with a chow mein sandwich, and then the rest of the electorate, there's enough people who are on the take, or whose relative has got a job or looking for a job from the city, which is the major employer in this community, that they'll vote anybody in because they don't want this city. The economy crap. We're bringing in people that don't work. They're going to sit in their subsidized housing all day and collect their checks. And then we wonder why nobody wants to come to this city. We wonder why the economy never goes up. Well, spend it. Look what even a dummy governor. I mean, we may have nothing come of this task force, but at least they're earmarking money to train people to get a job. They did it in Rhode Island. They've been doing it in Germany for decades. Germany has one of the greatest apprenticeship programs in their schools in the world. But you think we could learn something from them? No, we go to Florida on vacation to listen to somebody that's going to make money on a deal with Streetscapes. Something? It's all crap. And until we begin to realize that the only thing we have is our vote, and it's stay angry, nothing's going to change.
This is true. Have a great day, and we'll see you Friday.